In the heart of the ancient kingdom of Israel, where the echoes of battle and the intrigues of royalty shape destinies, the story of Mephibosheth unfolds, a tale woven with sorrow, hope, and the transformative power of grace. Mephibosheth was born into the royal family, the son of Jonathan and the grandson of King Saul. From birth, he was destined for greatness, surrounded by the splendor of palaces, the promise of inheritance, and the expectation of honor. Yet life's unpredictable currents swept him into tragedy at a tender age. At only 5 years old, Mephibosheth's world was shattered. News arrived that both his father and grandfather had fallen in battle. The kingdom was in turmoil, and fear gripped those loyal to the former house of Saul. In the chaos, his nurse, desperate to save him from the fate that often befell the heirs of defeated kings, attempted a hasty escape. But tragedy struck. In her rush, she dropped Mephibosheth, leaving him permanently crippled in both feet. What had once been a life full of promise suddenly became marked by pain, loss, and isolation. From the grandeur of the palace, Mephibosheth was thrust into hiding. He found refuge in Lodabar, a place whose very name signified desolation, scarcity, and silence. Lodabar was far removed from the bustling courts and fertile lands of royalty. It was a barren outpost, a place for the forgotten and the broken. Here, Mephibosheth lived in obscurity, his royal lineage overshadowed by his physical limitations and the shame of his family's downfall. The memories of his childhood, the warmth of his father's embrace, and the laughter of the palace were replaced by loneliness and longing. Years passed, and Mephibosheth remained in Lodabar, his existence a stark contrast to the life he might have led. Yet, even in this place of abandonment, the threads of destiny continued to weave. In the city of Jerusalem, David had ascended to the throne of Israel. Unlike many kings, David's reign was marked not only by military prowess, but by deep bonds of friendship and loyalty. Among these, his covenant with Jonathan stood out, a promise made in youth, sealed by love and faithfulness, to show kindness to Jonathan's descendants. One day, moved by remembrance and compassion, David asked, "Is there anyone left from Saul's house to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" The answer came, "Yes, there is one, Mephibosheth, living in Lodabar." David's heart responded not with judgment, but with mercy. He sent for Mephibosheth, commanding that he be brought before him. Imagine the fear and uncertainty that gripped Mephibosheth as he journeyed from the wasteland of Lodabar to the royal palace. In those days, it was customary for new kings to eliminate the remnants of the previous dynasty, erasing any threat to their rule. Mephibosheth, crippled and forgotten, must have expected condemnation or even execution. He carried not only the scars of his fall, but the weight of his family's legacy and the stigma of his condition. Yet, what awaited him was not the sword, but a seat at the table. David looked upon Mephibosheth and declared, "Do not be afraid. I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." With these words, David shattered the narrative of shame and exile. Mephibosheth, once hidden and broken, was restored to honor. He was given back his inheritance, welcomed to the king's table, and treated not as an enemy, but as a beloved son. This moment transformed Mephibosheth's life forever. The scars on his feet remained, but they no longer defined him. He was no longer a fugitive in a barren land. He was a guest of the king, enveloped by grace. The abundance of the palace replaced the scarcity of Lodabar. The isolation of exile gave way to the warmth of fellowship. Mephibosheth's story became a living testimony to the power of mercy, the beauty of covenant, and the depth of love that transcends merit. But the story of Mephibosheth is more than a historical account. It carries a profound spiritual message. It is an allegory for the human condition and the heart of the gospel. Like Mephibosheth, many find themselves wounded by life, burdened by shame, and dwelling in their own Lodibars, places of emotional or spiritual dryness, where hope seems distant and purpose obscured. The weight of past failures, the pain of rejection, and the scars of disappointment can make us feel unworthy, forgotten, and alone. Yet the story reminds us that there is a king who seeks us out, not to judge, but to restore. Jesus, the true king, calls each of us by name, inviting us to leave behind the wastelands of our past and take our place at his table. His invitation is not based on our achievements, strength, or righteousness, but on his unwavering love and the eternal covenant he made through his sacrifice. It is grace that covers our weaknesses, mercy that lifts us from shame, and love that restores our dignity. Mephibosheth's journey from Lodabar to the palace is a reminder that our limitations do not define us. God's faithfulness is greater than our failures, and his grace is more powerful than our pain. There is a place prepared for each of us, not because we have earned it, but because we are loved. The king's table is open, and his invitation stands. As we reflect on this story, let it inspire hope. No matter where you find yourself, whether in a place of brokenness, loneliness, or loss, the king sees you. He remembers you. He desires to restore what has been lost, to heal what has been wounded, and to bring you into the fullness of fellowship with him. Your past does not determine your future. The marks you carry are not the final word. There is honor where there was shame, abundance where there was lack, and belonging where there was isolation. Let the story of Mephibosheth encourage you to embrace the grace that is offered, to accept the invitation to the king's table, and to believe that restoration is possible. For in the heart of God, there is always room for the broken, always hope for the forgotten, and always love for those who feel unworthy. The journey from Lodabar to the palace is not just Mephibosheth's story. It is the story of all who trust in the redeeming power of grace.